Hello, beautiful people. How are all of you doing today? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Chat, yesterday I tweeted. Okay? Yesterday I tweeted and I said, maybe I was too harsh on DURIN. Today, DURIN got fucking nerfed, man. Fuck. My bad, man. Holy shit. It's actually your fault. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe it is, man. Maybe it is. It isn't a meaningful nerf. I mean, it's not, like, insignificant. Right? Let's look at it on the Razor team, right? This was the Razor team. Right? DURIN. Are the nerfs on Amber yet? Let's take a look. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, 166.6. 166.6. No! He's not above 100k anymore! No! It's 25 motion value. It's more than 25. It's like 50, no? It was like 219 or something? 216? And now it's 166. Tragic. Anyways, spend resin. We must. $25% of his motion value, I mean? Oh. I guess. They nerfed him to keep Razor below 100k. Yeah, that's actually why. You're actually right. That's why they nerfed him. Honestly, though, I feel like maybe we can sneak in like 1 or 2 more normals on Razor and get that back to 100k. There's gotta be something we can do.
Right there.
Act 4 today? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't want. Interesting video about what kind of scam UGC is. I don't know if I want to watch that. I think any video that like, and just not any opinion about UGC that like treats it as a completed thing that sucks is just inherently stupid. Like, do you know what UGC stands for? It stands for user-generated content. Obviously, on the patch it drops, there isn't gonna be much content yet. If it's a video talking about the, like, creation features and how they suck compared to other UGC games, then sure, that's fair, right? But if it's a video saying, like, these games suck, like, obviously they do, man. You're playing fucking trial maps on something that's not made, like, yeah, it is what it is. But if it actually is a video about, like,
strength is one of those things where you gotta use it or lose it. So
about the like game making features from someone who like has made games in other UGCs before, then that could be an interesting watch. But otherwise, I'm not interested. I forgot to eat.
Burn it down. It's justice o'clock.
Please Archon Quest today. That's not the plan. Like, I did Act 3 yesterday, and I mean, we could do Act 4, maybe. I don't know. I feel like Act 4 is going to take more than one day, though. Biggest complaint is about the predatory optimization first, before the gameplay, even. I mean, sure, I guess. But, like, yeah. Gacha games have predatory monetization. Who could have fucking seen that one coming?
Light it up. Stop right there. Controlled breathing. Pyroclastic surge.
Oops. Okay, I don't want... No one saw that. That was... Oh, that was disgusting.
Charge. Time to roll.
No, it's ×2 in UGC. No. Like, I don't know. You've been fucking... Oh, why would you do this to me? Colomina piece, yeah. You've been Stockholm syndromed into thinking that there is such a thing as a good gacha system, or a gacha system that's better than others. No, okay? A gacha system that's more generous isn't more generous, it's just trying to get your money through a different tactic. Okay? There is no such thing as a good or even just a better gacha system. They all suck equally as much. All Archons use their X.0 set? That's not true. Farina uses TOM.
Right there. Faster, stronger. Light of the blazing sun. Incinerate. Hi. Yeah. Heads up. Hero incoming. Running late again.
Raiden uses flop. True. Meh. Okay, what if I level that HP Sans right now? Like, I'm prepping Columbina before she's even, like, announced. Thoughts? Thoughts? Okay. Great start. Sick. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I take it back. Oh, man. I have encounter points thanks to Lud doing the quest. Let's fucking go. Is Yehuda good for Nefer? I haven't looked at Yehuda pretty much at all.
Thank you for Add Astra.
Mm. Okay. Give me a second, chat. Okay. Yeah. The Dev is a Yehuda hater. I mean, after yesterday's quest, I'm a Yehuda enjoyer, man. She was kind of a banger, actually. So we gotta... What? Oh! I didn't know those were, like, things you weren't allowed to step under. I see. Uh... Do I have the thingy still? I think I do, yeah. Okay, how the fuck am I supposed to put that over? Oh, ow my. Okay, bro, the controls suck so much ass. Nope. There we go. Hi. Oh, well. Just fly up? What do you mean, just fly up? I need to fucking bring my character up, too. What? I needed to put the fucking air current somewhere. But the controls for putting the air current down are so much fucking ass. Wait, does this platform go up and down? No, it doesn't. What are you guys talking about? What? No, the bird... Like, it goes down if the bird stands on it? I feel like you guys are just making shit up. Plays the current while floating midair. Oh. I mean, sure, I could have done that. But you can't aim too far down. So I would have had to be midair, but not too high up. Also, I didn't... There was a thingy, but I didn't see what it was. Also, am I really gonna have to fucking walk all the way here with both of them? That kind of sucks, by the way. I feel like you should have a button to make both of them walk forward at the same time. In between areas. You can summon? How? Oh, with this? Oh, I see. That makes a lot of sense. Was I supposed to break the wall instead? I think I was. I don't think I did this the right way. But I mean, we did it. But I don't think it was the right way. Okay, well, I mean, it worked, so it's fine. Wait, you're telling me I can't go up on a current with a fucking bird? That can't be real. What? Can you not fly? Push the button. The platform has been lowered. I mean, sure and all, but like... Why can the bird not fly? Oh. Why did I do that? Like, isn't that kind of dumb? I'm missing a coin. Oh, there it is. I don't want to talk about that. Okay. You can't use wind current to fly with bird, but isn't there literally a fucking like puzzle thing in the Master of the Night Wind where there's like something that's rising and you're on one of these birds and you have to like grab currents and put them and then fly up? Like the birds are supposed to be able to fly, no? That's the red bird? No! What do you mean that's the red bird? How the fuck are you gonna grab a current? Idiot. The red bird can't grab currents. Those are jump boosts? They're not. Masters of the Night Wind mirror puzzles. I gotta find someone's gameplay of it. Okay, I don't think it's this one. Clearly not this one. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, it's this. Look! 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 This bird can fly! Look! Whatever. Whatever, man. That's AI. Okay, man. Are we DURIN or DUROUT? About that. Bro. They were like, they heard me say Black DURIN is so bad that there are even some vape teams where you go white DURIN instead. And they were like, bet. Let's nerf white DURIN so that doesn't happen anymore. Oh, man. Oh, man. I wonder why you would hate this game. DURIN is cool. I wonder what prompted this reaction from you.
Stand clear.
Be silent. Close your eyes. Night falls.
Night balls.
Be silent.
Nope. Meh. No.
Defensive mode.
Is Albedo better than DURIN? I would say yes.
Night falls.
But like at this point, Albedo's like better than Chilonen. So like, I feel like that doesn't actually tell you that much, you know? Like Albedo's kind of the GOAT now.
insulation. Stand clear. Absorption.
Close your eyes.
That's
Beware
not what
the
I want to
creatures
do.
of the night.
But I mean, I guess
Be
it's fine.
silent. Night falls.
Night falls. Would you say Albedo is worth pulling now? Well, I don't think Shilonen is worth pulling, so no, not really. But, like, it's really nice if you have an old Albedo lying around. Oh, that could be nice. Probably won't be, but...
Clean up sequence. Go claw. Stand clear.
Do you fear the dark?
I took 848 damage. Stupid ass Inefa character can't shield for shit. Don't look at my skill talent level, please. Please and thank you.
Defensive look. Absorption test.
Observe. The night cometh.
The night cometh. Wish I was on the other set. Eh. What does my flower look like right now? Yeah, that's too good. We're not leveling this new one. For this, oh, I'll try it, but one bad roll and I stop. Is Rizzer not 100k anymore? He's not. We gotta find a way to get him back to 100k.
Add astro.
Maybe
Thank you for add astro.
maybe we can sneak in like a couple more Shovel's Holdies. Right? Perhaps. Like maybe we'll have time for that. Notes on Yehuda for non-Inefa Flinshaver. Could you replace Cookie? Yeah, like, Yehuda official should be pretty okay-ish. As a way to not have to run Ino. Like, Yehuda official Mona, maybe? Should be pretty solid for non-Inefa owners. But I haven't looked at her numbers very much yet. Maybe we'll look at that today. There's a lot of stuff we want to look at today, though. Want to see one got buffed? It didn't. The wording just got changed. There were no changes to any of the witches. We have 6.2 banners, do we? Wait. Hey yo. Hey yo, maybe Varessa banner will still be the GOAT.
This land holds nothing but promise for adventurers from all walks of life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. The reason why Yeonsan isn't there is just because she's not there yet. She will be. By the way, when does Sijin Onslaught start? I feel like I haven't thought about Sijin Onslaught in so long. 2 days. Is it the same for every server, or is it tomorrow for Asia? Is the same? Alright. Can Gumming do the Decision Onslaught Plunge Boss? Yeah, probably. Okay. Alright, chat. I think it's time to go take a look at all these DURIN calcs. Okay? And to go fucking nerf him everywhere. So, we're gonna control F DURIN. Okay, this is the one we've already changed. Next one. Motion value. 166.6%. We'll copy this. All right. What do you mean couldn't find what you were looking for? You're telling me there is DURIN. What are you talking about? Okay. It's probably faster to just find them manually than using this shit. Yeah. Honestly, it's not even that big of a nerf. Like, for me, it's the end of the world because it's like just enough of a nerf to bring the Razor team back below 100k. But it's really not that big of a nerf. What the fuck? Like, there are some teams where it's a bigger deal than others, but it's not that big of a deal across the board. Do I really have to change this everywhere? Do I care that much? Not really, honestly. We should change it on these, though. I don't understand that nerf. Like, it wasn't that strong to begin with. There was a problem that did justify a nerf, which was that white mode was much stronger than black mode. To the point where, if you had a way to maintain the shred from black mode, you would do more damage on white mode than on black mode, even on a reaction team. It would have been better, in my opinion, to just buff black mode, but also black mode is balanced around Mona buffs. And with C6 Mona, well, C4 plus Mona, Black Mode Durin is already at like 120k DPS. So it's kind of hard to justify buffing it if you want to balance it around C6, around people having constellations on their standard 5-star. Is Mona C6 with Durin Mawika level? No, but it's like Skirk level. And it didn't get affected by the nerfs. Alright, like if I scroll that back down to Mona C6 stuff. Where did I do this? Was it here? Yeah, I think. Yeah. When a C6 got buffed, it didn't. They just changed the words they used. None of the numbers changed. And it's not like the words mean something different. They're just said differently. Mona C1 doesn't buff lunar reactions anymore. Wait, really? Does it not buff lunar charge anymore? I kind of doubt that. If that is something that's like real, it's probably a fucking mistake in their wording and they're gonna change it. Cause like Mona buffing lunar reactions is in the game right now. I don't think they would ever actually like outright nerf her. Anyways, but like yeah, like yeah. You can sub Albedo in this team? That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like there isn't another good option. I guess you can do Sucrose, but I feel like Sucrose is kind of sus for uptime. But maybe we can have a black Durin sheet where we just look at a bunch of black Durin teams. At this point, it's an Albedo team, not a Durin team. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Like, this is Durin doing 61% of the team DPS. This is like 6-1. Sorry. This is like this is like similar to what Skirk does in teams with Escafie, Farina, Yulon. Sorry. I'm so sorry, chat. Sorry. Sorry, I take it back. I'm sorry. We check Fischl instead of Albedo here. Fischl will suck ass instead of Albedo here. But sure, we can. Okay, before we do that, I want to double check everything here. So this is TTDS Mona, half uptime. Is that actually worth it? Right? If we remove the TTDS buff and we give Mona an actual weapon, it's better. Yeah, so TTDS Mona isn't worth it here. Okay. Are we actually going to be able to get away without Fav for Mona ER requirements? Probably. She's catching her own particles. She's kind of chilling. You know? Like, you should be fine. I like how last Wednesday, Seercrafters were saying they're definitely going to nerf Razor, and Hoyo said, no, let's nerf the new limited 5-star, actually. Well, that is a Razor nerf. So, I mean, the prediction was right. Like, he's right. Maybe we just go Fav for comfort, because you can't be bothered running something else. Thoughts? I'm down for that. Fav for comfort it is. ER Sans Fav for, like, max comfort? Thoughts? Yeah, that sounds like a plan. So we're gonna have more than 220 ER, right? Because ER Sans is 50. Fav is 50. What set bonus was this, actually? Was this TOM Mona? I think it was? No. Yes, it was TOM Mona. I think. Or maybe not. Yeah, this was Noblesse Durin TOM Mona. Honestly, let's not go Noblesse Durin. Because that kind of sounds cringe, honestly. Let's go TOM. Or let's go Noblesse Mona. And I guess Crimson Witch, even with one stack on Durin, is better. Right? 22.5. We lost a lot of damage. Why? What did I do? Wait, what? Oh, wait. So this is what it's at on Noblesse Durin. Wow. Noblesse is better for his personal damage than Crimson Witch. Dude, this character is cooked, man. Yeah, let's just keep him on Noblesse, keep Mona on TOM then. Fuck it. What would be Mona's best 5-star weapon in this team? Fav. I don't know, honestly. Maybe Wanderer's Bell? I don't know. Um... But yeah, so, like, you don't really give a fuck about the energy. So, like, maybe you don't go ER Sends, you just go Attack Sends. Because you get 30 ER plus 45 ER, right? Well, 32 and 46, really. So you're, like, basically at 80 ER baseline. Yeah, so this is 5 Attack Sands, Mona. Is it CTDS? No. 5 Attack Sands. Anyways, we have Omen. We have Goblet. I don't know if Goblet is actually better, though. Let's look at Attack Goblet. Attack Goblet is better, yeah. Okay, so we have Omen, Mona's Ascension passive that converts ER to Hydro damage. Cinder City. What was this 15 from? Is that wrong? Where did that come from? I think that might be wrong. Oh, Georesonance. Yes, you're right. So Georesonance, Albedo's buff, and her Omen thingy, like her C6 thingy. And then for this, we have Omen. I mean, it's just everything but the last thing. So that's true. That's fair. Okay. We've got Witch bonus. Yeah. Yeah. This is 3 charge attacks. Yeah. Does Mona vape anything in this team? I'm assuming not, but in practice, the best rotation probably involves using Mona Burst as part of your setup, then DURIN Burst, then swap back to Mona and vape her first charge attack. Because a vape on Mona is better than a vape on DURIN, it's just that you can't get as many, right? But, like, we can add what happens if she vapes, right? So her EM will be pretty low. But we do get about half uptime Albedo. If she vapes, it'll be like at the start, so you will have the Albedo thing, actually. You get the 80 EM from her thing. Right? And then the EM multiplier. We don't have this. This we also don't have, and this would be 15. Yeah, and then so if we vape, Yeah, multiplier vape would be here. So this is where it's at with assuming that you only vape DURIN, but you vape all of his things. But if you end up applying Pyro with DURIN and vaping a Mona charge attack instead, right? That means you lost a vape on DURIN. Right? Which is losing 4k DPS. But in exchange for that, you gained a forward vape on Mona. Yeah. Which is more damage, right? But in practice, you might end up losing 2 vapes during your setup because of the lack of application. So maybe it's more realistic to assume this. Right? Like, maybe that's fair. But then at this point, Fav is probably not the best on Mona anymore. But I don't know, man. I don't care. Whatever. Okay, let's double check DURIN things. Also, let me... So this is Fav, TOM. This is... What weapon was this? This was Wolffang, right? Wolffang, Noblesse. This was Spindle, Husk. And this was Fav, Scroll. But yeah, so we have Omen with about 2/3 uptime. We have Cinder City, we have Albedo buff, we have Spindle. Not Spindle, sorry. We have Wolffang. We have Goblet. And then, what is this 20% from? That's Noblesse. Yeah, okay. Yeah, multiplier vape. Yeah. 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 Okay, these make sense. We have initial hit and 6 hits. The non-initial hits and 10 hits. I guess I need to do this as well. Okay. Yeah. All right. Then we have Albedo. Sure. Okay. Ascension, Goblet, Husk, new passive, old passive, Scroll, where did that come from? Omen, yes. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. 9 hits on a 20-second rotation, that makes sense. The shred is right. Yep. Yeah, so this is where it's at, right? What about flute instead of spindle? Is it worse? It's basically the same. Isn't it better to just play Mona Vape at C6 instead of vaping DURIN? Not really. I had Mona Vape carry at around 120k in this one. Around 1... It was higher than this because I didn't look at channeling damage yet. So it should be at around 20k in this one as well. But it's a lot harder to play. This team is a lot easier. How's Reverie her best set? She doesn't have a good set, so if you get good burning up time, Reverie's good on her. You show Mona without C6? I mean, sure. I mean, it's just we had this here, right? Like Mona C4 was like 4k DPS behind. Mona C2 was like 17k DPS behind. Anyways. The people were asking about alternatives to Albedo here. So let's take a look at Sucrose. VV. Oops. There's no fucking way you can do TTDS. You know what? I don't want to look at Sucrose, man. The uptime on the Shred is gonna suck ass in this team. Let's look at Fischl then. Fischl on Golden Troop. Maybe. Maybe. Seat Lolly? Seat Lolly ruins the team. You can't do Seat Lolly. Why not Bennett for power res and Mona's rotation? Mona doesn't do that much damage. I guess it's not awful. And one thing that you could do is like quick swap between Mona and DURIN, I guess. But I don't know. Let's look at Fischl first. So Fischl is 244 plus 510. Attack percent. So we have attack sands, her own passive. TOM, Golden Troop, Substats, Attack Ascension. Damage percent, we have Goblet, Golden Troop. Scroll? I guess we have Scroll, but we don't have Scroll on a Hydro. It's basically never gonna happen. It is worth going for Scroll on Pyro during your setup, but it's not worth trying to get it on the Hydro. Because you gotta delay your things too much. Anything else? Oh, we lose the 42 damage percent from Albedo. We lose the EM from Albedo. We lose the Geo-Resonance from Albedo. Okay. Yeah. EM. Oh yeah, we also have 48 damage percent. EM, about 80 plus 165. And EM multiplier, overload and shit. Crit value, we'll have about 2/3 uptime on it. Effective attack. And then motion value. So Fischl. Let me look her up. 178. What sort of rotations do you want to do? I feel like you just do one Oz per rotation, because it's kind of too complicated to get good Oz uptime without losing all your fucking buffs. But you can probably make the rotation shorter. Yeah, let's look at that. So, 178 times 12 plus 431 divided by 2 plus 638 divided by 2 plus Ascension 4 procs. Maybe 6. C6 procs. Maybe 15. Okay. Proc for an electrocharge is 2894 times multiplier. Number of electrocharge procs, let's say like 7. 7 on Mona as well. About 7 overloads too. Yeah. We also get the 180 EM. Oopsie. From Fischl's new passive. And you get it on Mona too. We do not react a Mona thing. But we do have more. It's going to be 7. Instead of 8, 8 is going to be 7, 7. But rotation will be shorter. Okay. Okay. The shred. This isn't 1.4. This is that's dog shit. Fischl damage isn't in yet. It's not done. This is 125. Okay. Then yeah, we should be able to just copy this. Yeah. Okay, so Fischl is like 15k behind. That's not ideal. It's not awful, but it's not ideal. Actually, I didn't add the 45% attack to Mona. Not that it changes that much, right? Oh, it's like 2k DPS. Another thing I want to look at is okay, first let's take this, put it here. Next, let's just straight up fucking remove this shit. And remove the albedo buffs as well. So we got 42 damage percent, And the 15 Geo-Resonance as well. And for these, we only got the 42 damage %. And 12 for this one. We get the EM buff here. That's gone. Anything else? From Albedo? No. Okay, and now I want to take a look at a few last slot options, but before I do that, I'll copy this to the right so we can work with this baseline a couple times. So first, let's look at Bennett. Bennett on Sapwood, Noblesse, and Durin would be able to go for a different set here. I guess he would go Crimson Witch, but like it's so bad. Actually, I'm pretty sure 2-piece 2-piece will be better here, because he already has such a high EM multiplier. Plus... Plus 15%. Isn't Emblem with 20% ER better? Emblem needs... What is it? ...140% ER to be better? But Durin doesn't have ER requirements that high. I mean, you could go Emblem, but, like, it's the same as 2-piece 2-piece, really. Unless you just have a lot of random ER on your Emblem. Like, if your Emblem is better, you can use that, but it doesn't really change anything. Anyways, okay, so this is the set bonus changes, okay? Next, we can take a look at the Bennett attack buff. No, the Power Resonance. Power Resonance is plus 25. Plus 25. Okay. And finally, we take a look at the Bennett buff. Now, the Bennett buff is going to be fucking weird for this, right? Like, you have two options. You can either go Bennett and then just on-field Mona. Get 1050 attack on Mona. Right? And then with Bennett personal damage, you're basically at 100k. Which is like 20k behind Albedo. Which is kind of ass, right? Or you can enter a staring contest with the enemies with Durin. And you can give the attack buff to Durin for most of the uptime. And just swap back to Mona to reapply Hydro here and there. So you'll have like about 700 average. And that's higher. But like, it's so sus. It's so fucking sus. Also, I'll be right back. I'm kind of curious about like C6 Bennett infused Durin. So maybe I can take a look at that. What do his normal attack motion? What does his normal attack motion value look like? It's probably dog shit, right? Oh, his charge attack has one hit. Does it? Do we know if it has ICD? It probably does, honestly. They want to ruin him, so I feel like it does. Because, like, if his charge attack doesn't have ICD, right? Like, his passive that increases vape and melt damage is not burst vape and melt damage. It's vape and melt damage on him as a whole. So it would apply to vapes and melts triggered by his charge attack, too. And his charge attack isn't a double hit. It's a single hit. Plunge vape with Shania. And that won't work because you need you need enough hydro. And you're not getting enough hydro from anyone with plunge vape Durin. Because you need Bennett, you need Xianyun, you need Durin, and then you need a hydro that can sustain a hydro aura through Durin plunge attack spam, Xianyun hydro swirls, and Durin burst. But that also applies hydro when you do charge attacks, so Singso can't be used. Then don't use his burst, that's gonna be even worse. No way. Yeah, plus you can't even like you have to use Mona, right? Because you need a fucking Hexen Circle. Like it's gonna be ass. Actually, no. Yeah, no. You need to activate his burst to get the passive too. That's so funny. Cryo Durin with Chongyun. Wait, maybe you're cooking actually. Maybe you're cooking actually. Xianyun, Durin, Chongyun. Albedo? Sucrose? What on Mona, Xianyun, Farina? How are you doing Pyro Plunge attacks without Bennett? His ult doesn't give him infusion. Sorry, that's it's funny. It's funny you think it does. Are you gonna skip Durin in this state? I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man. Like maybe C6 Bennett Pyro Infused Durin is just like goated. Let's but I can't look at it until I know what his ICD is like. That's the problem, right? But I can look at Plunge with Chongyun. Not that I'm expecting much from that, but yeah, no, I'm not doing that. It's gonna be ass. Plunge with Candace, though. Ooh. Maybe you're cooking, actually. Because then you get to do forward, right? And there are pyro applicators that are fast enough to sustain that shit. Probably not. Let's look at Durin, Bennett. If we do Mona here, we're gonna need another Hydro, right? If we on-field Durin. So we can't really do Mona unless we were willing to lose the Shred. Is Farina gonna be enough? Probably not. I think Yelan is probably enough. Singso is definitely enough. But I think Yelan will be enough. And then last slot. We needed a Hexen Circle, right? So Sucrose. Because we don't have Shred otherwise. Maybe we just sacrifice the Shred so we can win Albedo. I don't know. Let's look at his stats. So in this team, you would not want to go Wolffang because you're doing a good amount of normal and charge attack damage. Like, you're doing mixed damage between normal charge attack and burst. So what would you go? I guess there is no good weapon, right? Finale, you can't heal reliably, so you can't reliably proc the Bond of Life effect. You only heal when you get hit. Maybe Farina has enough Hydro. I don't think she does, honestly. But maybe. Who knows? Like, maybe there's a world where she does. And that lets you go fucking Marie-José, which is kind of huge, actually. Okay. This would be... what's it called? Fuck. What's the weapon called again? Finale. Finale, Marie-José, Durin. Sapwood, Noblesse, Bennett, Fav, TOM, Farina, and I don't think we're getting the TDDS here. It's gonna be way too cringe to try to do setups with TDDS. So let's just do Sackfrog, VV, Sucrose. Okay. So attack percent, we have Noblesse, we have TOM, we have main stat, we have substats, we have Power Resonance, we have Finale, we have Finale Effect, Flat Attack, we have Artifact stats, we have Bennett, and we have Finale, which is going to be about 220. Thoughts about double Hydro Mona Farina? I'll take a look at that after. But I feel like the Shred is too good. Okay. Damage percent on normal attacks. Shilonen. We don't have the Witch passive if we use Shilonen, but maybe it's still worth. But I don't know, man. 30% Vape and Melt just from using a Witch is kind of a big deal. Okay, so we have Sands, or sorry, Goblet. We have Farina. We have Bennett C6. We have Maréchaussée. Is that it? I think. Yeah. And then on the burst, it's this. Oh yeah, Sucrose's new buff, that's true. What the heck? Okay, chat, it looks like Durin's charge attack has no ICD. Winnable. And also, the animation is kind of fast, actually. Has no ICD yet? Yeah. 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 Anyways, so Elemental Mastery, how much EM do we get in this team? So we get the 80 baseline. But that's kind of it. No, we get Sucrose, right? So it's 50. Sure, Lud, actually. That's fine. I can go on the other account for now. But if you're free to do that right now. I appreciate it. I want to get it over with. Listen, if you finish and you want to do some exploration, you're more than welcome to. I'll 100% Dragon Spine for fun. Bet. I'm pretty close to 100% on Dragon Spine, though. Anyways. Okay. Yeah, multiplier for vape. So we don't have these things anymore. But we do have his own passive. But yeah, maybe there is a world where you don't need the witch bonus. We'll take a look at a few options for this, if it doesn't look like it's awful. Which, like, I'm not convinced about yet. Anyways. Effective attack, 1. Right, this is... Okay. We're gonna need charge attack. Vape. Charge attack, unvaped. We're gonna need Q vaped. We're gonna need Q unvaped. And we're also gonna need... Well... A4 vape and A4 unvaped. Right? Then... MV5, MV6. Damage 5, damage 6. Alright, so, effective attack for a charge attack, vape, is attack, damage percent, yeah, multiplier, crit multiplier, yeah. For charge attack, unvaped, is everything except the, yeah. Q vaped, okay, so this is here, and it looks at this damage. Okay. And then this one is like this. Yeah. Okay. So... Sucrose EM, how much uptime is it gonna be? It'll be like okay uptime, I think. Like, it kind of depends on what you do for your setups. Let's look at like optimal setups, right? So plus 50, plus 20% of her EM. Let's start by looking at full uptime. I don't think it's real, but it's fine. And then this is 187 times 3, 140, 221. Right? Okay. For the Q, about half of the hits happen outside of your outside of your field time, so you lose a lot of the buffs. Right, you don't have the Bennett buff. So minus 50% of 139% of Bennett attack. Alright, so half uptime on Bennett buff. Half uptime on Bennett C6. Half uptime on that's kind of it, actually. And then yeah. And then this is minimum 2000. This. Yeah. Okay. Huh? Alright, chat. Sorry, I gotta take a look at something that I got. Wait. Oh, wait a second. Maybe there is ICD. What's going on here? I can't tell. Oh no, chat. Maybe I was wrong. Hmm. Yeah, that looks like there's ICD. No! That's cooked. That's so cooked. No. Two, three, four, five, six. Okay, so on a 12-second uptime, you can probably do like 10 charge attacks, maybe more if you do good cancels. The cancels look a little weird. Let's assume half of them vape, and same for half of the normals, and then half of the remaining half doesn't. Okay, so motion value on the burst. Well, pretty much all of this is just shifted down like this. And these are gone. We will have our shred for this, but only half uptime shred for this. Okay. And then the Normal and charge attacks. We have... Oops. I don't know what to do. Alright, we have characters DURIN. His N1 is so weak. 83.9% on N1. And 208.4% on charge attack. Then we get, let's say 5 of each. Vaped and unvaped. Right, 10 total. 10 N1Cs. Yeah, that's pretty pathetic. I forgot Marek was there, actually. Okay, maybe it's not pathetic. What team is this? This is N1C Pyro-Infused DURIN. But it's assuming that Farina is enough application, and I don't know if it is. And it's also assuming you get reliable VV setups with Sucrose, which I don't know if you can. Put the Yoda in the bag. True. No, we need a witch. How about Fischl instead of Sucrose? That's definitely not enough hydro. Need to look at Mona Farina now? Sure. So this would be Mona, TTDS. Oops. TOM instructor, maybe? Noblesse Farina? That's my go right there. I guess we should do the other way around if we're going to be doing this. TOM Mona Noblesse, or TOM Farina Noblesse Mona. So we lose the Sucrose buff. Goodbye. We lose a Shred. Goodbye. We gain. What do we gain? We gain Instructor. The uptime on it will be kind of ass, but it is what it is. Like 40 EM average from Instructor. 80 EM from Mona. Let's look at Mona C2 first. We get 48% attack from Mona on TDDS. And we get 15 reaction damage bonus. We get full uptime omen on Durin's normal attacks. 2/3 uptime omen on Durin's burst. Wait. What? Wait. Wait, what? You still have the damage percent from Sucrose? I do. You're right. Not that it's a lot, but I will remove it. Thank you. Still, though. That's Mona C2. Can you just swap back to Bennett while his burst is up to refresh Instructor? I guess you can, yeah. I don't know if it's worth it though, because you lose the the time you spend swapping on Bennett is time you're not attacking on Durin. What about Mona C4? Bro, wait. Wait a second. Wait a fucking second. Wait a second. Add Farina damage? I don't care. We'll tickle the enemies. Okay. Okay. How does he get 48% from DDDS? We're doing 20-second rotations here, so we get it every rotation. And, sure, it's not full uptime on his burst, but on his normal attacks, it is full uptime. I guess I should make sure that I properly separate it in here. We lose 24% of his base attack. There we go. I wonder if there's ever a world where you burst every other rotation on Farina here. Or you skill every other rotation. Because, like, Durin's burst isn't, like, an important part of your setup. You can use it whenever. So it doesn't have to be synchronized in a rotation. What does have to be synchronized is Bennett burst, Farina burst, and Mona burst. And those are all 15 seconds. Wait, chat. Maybe I was too harsh on Black Durin too. But I shouldn't say that because I'm gonna get him nerfed too. How's a rotation? This is like Farina EQ, Bennett EQ, Mona EQ, Durin. Actually, you're probably Farina EQ, Durin EQ. Then Bennett EQ, Mona EQ, Durin attacks. Why not Mona QE? It doesn't fucking matter. Do what you want. I had to do 4 normals on Mona as well. I'm assuming 10 N1Cs. I don't know what good cancels look like, though. Okay, those look like pretty good cancels. Wait. It kind of looks like you can get more than 1 per second if you're doing good cancels. His charge attack comes out so fast. Like, that's... When was the last time we had a charge attack that came out this quickly? Yeah, I guess you can't... You won't be able to do dash cancels if you do that. But you can probably do jump cancels. I mean, you could just do dash cancels and just be capped at 12. Not 12. Oh no, it's a lot less than 12. It's not 20 per. It's 40 per. Alright, it's 45. Yeah, okay, no, that's kind of cooked. Use Barbara for stamina, true. I think getting 10 in a 12-second uptime is pretty reasonable, though. I mean, maybe at that point you do N2C. No, because N2C is not going to vape enough of the shit. You're not going to vape enough charge attacks. If only his second attack was a double hit instead of the third one. That would be so nice. You vape more normals. Yeah, but the normals hit a lot less hard than the charge. They're like really pathetic in comparison. But like this is actually looking really good for like, but again, it's Hycon Mona stuff, which I don't know how I feel about, honestly. Yeah. It's also kind of crazy that the only reason why Farina's good here is because the sets that Durin can use are so complete fucking dog shit that being able to use a Maréchaussée is a major upgrade. But once you get a witch set, Farina's probably gone. This is EM Sands. This is Attack Sands. I think it's better than EM Sands. Because you get a bunch of EM and EM multiplier from all the shit on your team. Will you do a selector video? Yeah, I will. Can you actually calc Farina damage on this team? Fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. Characters. Is Amir's chat misaligned? Is it? I can't tell. Oh, yeah. There you go. 15,307. 46.6 times 2 plus 25 plus 20. 5K. Plus 20. Forgot more about that. Damage percent. We have Fanfare. Half uptime Omen. Or 2/3 uptime Omen, I mean. Her own passive. Is that it? That's it, right? Crit value, 98.4, 62.2, 20 times 6.6, and like 2/3 uptime Omen. Effective attack. It's actually effective HP, but whatever. Yeah. Motion value. What is it in a 20-second rotation again? I forgot. Is it 13.64 is what it was? Or was that for 16-second rotations? I forgot. Dude, I always forget about Farina's things, man. But I can't. I don't care. I don't care. 13.4, 19.4, 1.4 times 13 times 5.49, 6 times 10.13, 4 times 14.09. Does that make sense? Feels a little high, honestly. I guess we are getting a pretty big external buff with Mona. Also, this is Mona C2, so we don't have this thing. Oopsie. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Do you know why it's called October if October means 8th, but it's our 10th month? Isn't it because, like, Roman emperors wanted to have their own fucking names as a month? Alright, like Julius and Augustus. So they just fucking put them in before. October used to be the 8th month, but then Rome happened. Yeah. And then for C4 Mona, we would just have the C4 here. Chad, that's kind of... I haven't looked at Mona and Bennett damage yet, but it won't be too high. Well, like, if this is possible, that's kind of good. You gave Durin Mona C4 CV? I believe I did, yeah. Yep, I did. Is this Kirk level? Yeah. But I don't know if these combos are doable. Right? Like, yeah. I'll be right back. back, chat. Hello. But yeah, this is maybe a bit too optimistic on the amount of attacks you get. Okay, I guess maybe we can record a video on the selector today. I think I care about getting that out there more than the Mona or the Nefer first impressions, because there's so much new stuff.
People ought not be so frightened of ghosts.
Act 4 today? I don't think so. Alright, chat.
They are merely talking shadows.
Everyone say hi to YouTube. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi. To a video on the Constellation Selector. Now, I've already talked about the Constellation Selector. I don't know if that ended up making it to YouTube, but I've talked about it a few times already. But with the new changes to all the Hexen Circle characters, a lot has changed. So, I want to quickly talk about both characters that are directly in the Hexen Circle that you can choose from the Constellation Selector, but also characters that aren't in the Hexen Circle, but that are getting indirectly buffed from either the Hexen Circle buffs or from DURIN coming out. So, let's talk about all these characters. First, let's mention the characters that got directly buffed from the Hexen Circle buffs, the witch buffs. Right, we got Albedo that got buffs. We got Klee that got buffs. We got Mona that got buffs. Is that all for the ones that are available here? It is, right? So we got Mona that got buffs. Let's start with Klee, because I think it's... Well, it's not the simplest changes. It's the changes that are kind of the simplest to evaluate, right? What they did with Klee, as a reminder, or for those of you that haven't watched my video on the Hexen Circle changes, they're giving her a bunch of new shit, but mainly, one, instead of only having one spark, she can charge up to 3 at the same time. So if you get lucky on your spark generation, instead of like the second spark just not doing anything because you can't stack more than one, it now gets stocked for later. So she'll more reliably be able to get the explosive sparks on her charge attacks. She'll get more of them. And the rest is witch-only buffs. So they made it so that if you have 2 Hexen Circle-related characters on the team, you get an additional buff. Klee is one of them. For Klee, the other ones that are relevant are mainly DURIN, Mona, Fischl, and Albedo. I guess Venti to some extent as well. If you have 2 of those in your team, you get an extra buff. So for Klee, that buff is during her burst, her normal attack string doesn't reset anymore. So if you N1 and then dash, your next attack will be the N2, not the N1 again. And when she does her third normal attack, you get a coordinated charge attack, basically. On top of that, her charge attacks are now having their damage increased by 1.5 times. So they're like omega buffing the amount of damage that Klee's charge attacks can do, and the amount of charge attacks she can do as well. I'm not entirely sure what her best combos are gonna be, but it's probably gonna be some form of like normal attacks into charge attacks into finishing the normal attack string, so you get the extra coordinated charge attack from finishing your string. Based off of what I've looked at with, and again, right, we don't have like optimized combos from leakers, obviously. So there's a limit to what we can see. But it looks like Klee got a pretty major buff to the point where, like, post-buff C0 Klee, just in terms of the raw amount of damage that she can output, is, I would say, a little bit... Wait, let me double-check something, actually. Editors cut this part out. I think I had a comparison to Arlecchino somewhere, right? No, I didn't. Fuck. Did I really not? I thought I did. Where the fuck did I put the Arlecchino thing? I've done it like 3 times and I keep forgetting about it. Okay, yeah, I have one here. So... Okay, yeah. Yeah, so just in terms of raw, like, damage output, it seems like Klee is, like, a tiny little bit below. Like, well-optimized Klee combos look like they're going to be a tiny bit below Arlecchino. And poorly optimized Klee combos will be a decent amount below. But, well, she's available from the selector, and this is a video about the selector. So if you get her C1, you get more hits from the C1 itself, but the C1 also got buffed to also give Klee 60% attack. And with the C1, I'd say that Klee's just raw damage output is actually slightly higher than Arlecchino's. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean that Klee is going to be better than Arlecchino, right? One, there's the combo optimization, and if you've ever played Klee, you'll know that it doesn't tend to be a particularly pleasant experience, at least until you get used to the combos. But also, Klee's, like, damage distribution and like, hit distribution doesn't really allow her to be used in melt or vape reactions effectively. It feels awful, and is going to get even worse with the changes because she's getting even more hits. So you're not going to be vaping or melting on her, really. She's pretty much exclusively for Monopyro or Showers teams. But in those teams, if you're doing good combos, Klee will actually be a pretty solid character now. That being said, a certain amount of that is assuming that you will be able to do the combos that I've been looking at. And I don't know for a fact that they're possible. So, massive grain of salt on this one, but it is what it is. All that being said, if you have Klee, you like Klee, she's a character you like playing, or do you just like the character, you feel bad for her because she's been abandoned by her mom, okay, that's understandable, okay? Empathy is an amazing thing, okay? And if you want to play her, She actually has a pretty okay C1 now. The C1 is like... Yeah. The C1 is... yeah. Klee C1 is effectively, like, pretty similar to a modern C1 in terms of increase to her personal damage. That being said, in pretty much all of her teams, she's not, like, the main, like, the only source of team DPS, so it won't be as good for her team DPS as, for example, Nefer's C1 is for her teams. But the point I'm getting at here is Klee is going to be a pretty okay character with these buffs, assuming they go through as is. And if she's a character you like, her C1 is actually a good C1 to get. So, if you like Klee, if she's one of the carries you play, I'd say she's arguably one of the, if not the best Constellation 1 to get from the Constellation Selector. If any, I'd say it does more than Hu Tao's C1 does for her. Just to give those of you that... Just to give you guys a point of comparison. Next is Albedo. And Albedo is very different from Klee in that with the buffs that he receives, Albedo is actually going to be a part of many characters' best teams, right? While Klee gets pretty big buffs, she was starting pretty far behind, and she is a carry, so she's directly competing with other modern carries, and even with the buffs, she's not quite at the level of something like Mawiko, for example. In Albedo's case, though, because he's a support, he inherently can fit into a lot more different teams. And with the new changes, Albedo is actually pretty good. And he will be a part of many fairly meta characters, either best or like top 2 or 3 teams. Albedo's a pretty solid unit now. Now, he's not like insane, right? Most of those characters that have a great team with Albedo, they have an alternative that isn't that much worse. But he's pretty solid. The one thing, though, is that while his buffs are very, very significant, they're basically doubling his damage and giving him a team-wide buff, the buff to the C1 is pathetic. His C1 buff is a joke, okay? He just gains 50% defense. It's not, like, terrible, but this is... The way that defense is balanced, sources of defense generally give you more defense than sources of attack do. A defense sans is 58.3, an attack sans is 46.6. So this is basically the equivalent of about 40% attack on an attack scaler. And while that's not bad, Albedo's never the main source of damage on your team. He's just always a nice source of damage. And an increase to his personal damage that ranges between 10 and 15% generally leads to like 3 to 5% team DPS, which is, well, obviously a lot less than getting a constellation for a carry or a support constellation that increases the quantity of a buff. Overall, I'd say that Albedo's C1 is not very good. It's not really something I'd recommend. The energy generation effect can be nice, but it doesn't tend to be all that impactful. It is what it is. If you already have C1 for some reason, and you're like wondering how good the C2 is now, the way that his C2 works now is it basically allows him to not use burst, right? His C2 used to be that it makes the burst scale with defense, but the scaling on defense was awful, so you didn't really care. Right? It still has the old effect, but it now has a new effect, which says that when Albedo is off field and you get full stacks of the C2 effect, which is whenever your skill deals damage, you get a stack, and your burst deals more damage based on the amount of stacks you have. When he gets 4 stacks of this effect, he loses them. And he basically uses his burst from off field without having to swap into him. It doesn't do quite the full damage that the burst would do. But it does 900% of his defense as motion value, which is the equivalent of about 2 hits of his skill. Right? And it happens every 4 hits of his skill, which means you're increasing your skill damage by about 50%. A bit less than that, because I'm rounding up a little. 900 motion value is burst damage. Yeah, but that doesn't matter because he doesn't get skill damage. You don't go Golden Troop, you go Husk on him. He doesn't get any other, like, skill-only damage. Anyways. But honestly, the best part of this, I mean, sure, the fact that you're just getting, like, almost 50% more personal damage from Albedo is a pretty big deal. But something that's almost as important is you're now also getting the elemental mastery bonus from using burst without having to use burst and with full uptime. Right now with Albedo, having to use his burst kind of sucks because you're just like, his burst doesn't do a lot of damage. You don't want to have to build ER. And the EM buff from using burst is only 10 seconds uptime. With a C2, you refresh that buff every 4 hits of your skill, which is generally less than every 10 seconds. So you have full uptime on the EM buff. And you don't have to use the burst at all, because you get it just from the skill triggers. Albedo's C2 is definitely a really good one. So if you somehow got his C1, and I realize that there's like 3 people watching this are at C1 Albedo, no more, no less. But if that's you, if you're one of those 3 people, Albedo's probably your best choice from this selector. Does that mean that it's worth pulling for Albedo and his C1 to get this C2? Fuck no. Don't get baited by that. Okay? This is just for people that already have C1 Albedo. Anyways. Last of the 3 characters that is directly getting buffed here is Mona. Mona's constellations are getting buffed. Mona as a whole is getting buffed. And unlike the other 2, Mona is a standard character, so everyone either has her or can get her from a selector or might get her from losing a 50-50, right? And then on top of that, you can get her constellations from the selector, but you might also already have a bunch of constellations on her. So her constellations past C1 also matter quite a bit more. Anyways, here are the buffs that Mona got. The default C0 buff was only to the witch stuff, so if you have 2 witches on your team. And it is that you can, after using Mona's burst, you can stay on the field for a little bit longer and do some normal attacks on Mona. And if you do, it extends her burst duration. Instead of lasting for 5 seconds, You can make the burst last for up to 13 seconds, because it's plus 2 seconds per normal attack, and you can do 4. It also gave her an effect that increases the vape damage of your team when she does normal attacks to, like, incentivize on-fielding Mona with off-field pyro damage dealers. But the main thing they're doing here is the Omen uptime extension. The thing is, there's a few of Mona's constellations that directly buff what the Omen does, which means that buffing the duration of the Omen also buffs the value of those constellations. So let's talk about them. The C1 is getting a small buff. It does the same thing that it used to, but the 15% numbers for the increase to Hydra reactions goes up to 24% if your characters are off-field. Nice little thing. Plus 9% reaction damage if you... if you have this... if you're using off-fielders to trigger reactions. That's cool. Good stuff. Wow. This is the smallest one of the buffs to her constellations. C2 is the first pretty big one. So, initially, her C2, when a normal attack hits, there's a 20% chance that it will be automatically followed by a charge attack with a 5-second cooldown. That's what it used to do. Now, they added 2 effects. One, the first normal attack that she does after burst is guaranteed to proc this effect. And 2, when her charge attacks hit opponents, she buffs the team's EM by 80. That's a pretty big deal. Especially because you want to do a few normal attacks after her burst in order to extend the Omen now. You pretty much always just get this. So that's pretty cool. The C2 is now also a pretty solid support constellation, not just a stupid personal damage constellation that doesn't do anything. Next, C4. The biggest change to the C4 is just the Omen duration extension. Instead of lasting 5 seconds, it can last 13, which is massive, because it basically means that your 30% CV is lasting for most of your uptime instead of just like a third of it. But also, they're adding 15 crit damage for Hex Circle characters. So, witches get a little bit more from her C4. And it's 45 CV instead of 30. And finally, her C6. Right now, her C6 gives her damage percent when she's staying in her alternate sprint for multiple seconds. It's really bad because you don't want to stay on your alternate sprint, like, ever. Well, the new C6 can also give you this effect from being next to an enemy affected by Omen. Which means you just get this for free. You don't have to enter alternate dash. So you can actually play Mona as a carry. Also, because that wasn't enough, the C6 now also doubles her charge attack damage. So the C6 turns Mona into a pretty solid carry. I'd say that compared to Molani, who's another like forward vape carry, C6 Mona is a fairly similar character in terms of damage output, but a bit more cringe to play, because you got stamina to deal with, and Mona's targeting is pretty awful. That being said, honestly, Molani's also getting buffed from all of this shit, right? Both Molani with Mona and Molani with Albedo are getting some pretty massive buffs. Molani is gonna get a lot stronger from these witch buffs. So I'm not too sure about C6 Mona as a carry. I'd say that the main important changes are the changes to C1, 2, and 4. And so the question remains, should you select Mona? Well, on the one hand, right, selecting Mona means you're not selecting someone else. And if you are patient and willing to just select Mona from the standard selector in the next few years, you can get her to C6 without ever having to select her here. On the other hand, her constellations are useful on some actual meta teams now. Right? There's going to be Mualani that I've already mentioned, but there's also a lot more. There's going to be DURIN carry teams that are pretty heavily reliant on Mona having constellations if you want to do DURIN Mona. And there's a bunch of other characters that will now be able to use Mona for their reactions. All in all, I'd say that if you're at C0 Mona, the C1, like it's all right. The C2 is all right. I think the big constellation is the C4. More so than the other two. But I'd say that overall, Mona is a pretty good character to select. Right? If you ever end up with more than C6 Mona eventually, you're not unhappy about that because you now get the Masterless Stella Fortuna out of it. But yeah, that's it for the characters that got directly buffed. Now for characters that got indirectly buffed from their teams becoming better. So, Wanderer. Wanderer got buffed from DURIN, from Venti buff. But honestly, the buff wasn't that big. At this point, Wanderer's barely better than using, like, Cinder City Aoife if you're going to be doing the Venti DURIN core. So I don't think it's really affected his value in the Constellation Selector all that much. But I did want to mention him quickly. Ito. Ito's C1 sucks ass. If you want to improve your Ito team, just get Albedo's C1. God. Ew. Yoimiya. Yoimiya is getting some much stronger teams with DURIN, but her C1 is still complete dog shit, so you don't really care. Unfortunately. Sino. You know, I haven't looked at Sino DURIN stuff too much yet. But oh well. Xiao! Xiao also is getting, just like Wanderer, some much better teams. Xiao is a better character than Wanderer, so he's the gap between him and just Cinder City Aoife is a little bit bigger. It almost to the point where it feels worthwhile, but his C1 is still pretty dog shit, so you don't really care too much. Characters like Yai that you will be able to use in like Overload DURIN teams got a bit better, but honestly, the buffs to Razor are so big that it makes me very critical of electro carries that are worse than he is now. And playing Yai as a carry in an Overload team is kind of that at this point. Ayato can have some interesting things with Burgeon DURIN things, but his C1 is also pretty bad. Honestly, this is a problem that a lot of these characters share, is that their C1 is not all that good. So even if they get better from the Hex and Circle changes, you're better off going for a Constellation on the Hex and Circle character you're using, whether it be Mona, Klee, or Albedo. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, initially I thought, like, before the changes were announced, my thoughts were that the best constellations to get were like Shenhe's C1, Baiju's C1, Mona constellations, Hu Tao's C1, maybe Nilo's C1, right? Constellations that don't do too much, but at least were on characters that you could actually put on your team without feeling awful about it. Right? None of those cons are that great, but at least you would use them. Now, I'd say that Mona's C1 or Mona's constellations in general kind of eclipse everything else. Right? If you're playing Klee as a carry, there's that too. And then Albedo's C1 as like your default once you already have your Monocon. Or if you don't need a Monocon. But yeah. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned a thing or two. And
This land holds nothing but
I heckin' love witches. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube. Yo. Okay. We're only getting 8, huh? That is unfortunate. Chat. Downscaled Black Durin carry. GG. Minus 7k. But that's still not bad, honestly. We got clean Farina teams. Not yet. Because, like, you're not vape. I don't know what the reaction mapping is going to look like in those teams. But it seems so fucking... 125k, not bad. Maoika Brain Rot is real. It's not because of Maoika. It's because this is with Mona C4, right? And it's a lot lower without that. All right. Okay, what about AFK Durin with Citlali? I kind of want to look at that too. So, like, we go Durin on Wolfang. Two-piece, two-piece. Bennett. On Noblesse. Or Sopwood. Noblesse. Seat Lolly. On TTDS. Scroll. And what would the last one be? Do we just go Sucrose? Or is Albedo better? We'll look at both. But yeah. So, Wolfang, okay. We have Noblesse, Substats, Sands, no TOM, Pyro Resonance, no Finale attack. Let's see. Okay. Then the attack. We don't have Finale attack, and the setup is probably Durin, EQ, Bennett EQ, Sucrose E, Seedlolly EQ, swap to Durin and Stare. So we should have 10 seconds of uptime on all of our buffs, basically. We have Sucrose. We do not have Farina anymore. Goblet, Bennett C6 divided by 2. We don't have Geo Resonance. We do have, wait, we also have half uptime TTDS. Okay. We have the two-piece, so 35. We have Scroll, so 40. Is there anything else? No. I don't think so. Wolf Fang, 16. And then on non-burst damage, we don't have this. Oh no, we do have this. Sorry. This is just 20 instead. Yeah. EM. We have Sucrose. You probably do swap back to Sucrose to refresh the EM buff. Yeah. That shouldn't be a problem. And you swap back to Durin before you lose the Bennett buff, so it's fine. Yeah. You don't refresh the VV, but you do refresh the EM buff. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, multiplier. We got that 70. Crit value. We don't have Maréchaussée anymore. GG. We do have Wolf Fang though, 27.6 times 2 and 16. No, we get more than 16 average now, because we actually do get, or no, we don't. Wait, how much? No, it is 16, right? Wolf Fang, where are you? Yeah, it is 16. Okay. So 16 CV from that. Okay. Then yeah, no. Okay. This should be fine. Now, I've already adjusted the buffs. For this. Motion value 1, so we don't have any normal attacks and shit, but we do have DURIN characters, Pyro, DURIN. 179.0. 122.8. 122.8 plus, and that's it. We have 90.4, 109.9. Okay. Then reacted burst damage. I guess it's 6 times 2. Sure. This is unreacted burst damage, yeah. This 6 times 2, yeah. Yeah. And then the shred, we have sucrose, we have Citlali. So it's 1 point, we have what, 60 shred? So 1.25. Yeah, that's not that good, actually. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty awful, actually. So what if we go albedo? So we go, we lose the sucrose damage. We lose the sucrose EM. We gain the albedo EM. Probably like 100 average here. We gain the albedo damage percent. And with all of that, and we lose the shred. Yeah, 1.05. Our damage went to 69k from 79k, so we lost 10k. But we make up more than 10k from albedo, so it's worth it. Attack percent, we don't have this one. We do have this. Yep, yup. Yup, yup. Damage percent, Ascension, Goblet, Husk, new passive, old passive. We don't have Scroll. We don't have Omen. Crit value. We don't have Omen. True. And damage. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah. So albedo's at 15k. Yeah, this is not even 100k, actually. Didn't I have it pretty high before? What did I do wrong? I don't know, man. Right. It's because I didn't assume as many melts. That's why. And this is probably more reasonable, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. All right. 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 Argon Quest. I don't really want to. I don't really want to do the Argon Quest right now. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Hmm. Venti Calcs when? I don't know. I've already done a bit, but I think honestly, I think I'm kind of done for today. I'm pretty tired today. Tomorrow, I think we'll start doing deep dives on all the new changes. We'll go character by character. We'll do a lot of cal. Yeah, we can do the stall actually. Sure, we can do that before we end. I'm down. And we'll also be doing Archon Quest. We'll probably only do one part of it because I heard that it was longer than Act 3, and I'm not doing all of that in one day if it's longer than Act 3. Let's zilch. Time. No, it can't be. Fetid. Oh my god, I'm the goat. Holy shit. Is that how you say that word, by the way? I've seen it written down, but I don't think I've ever heard it. Aw. Uh... Is it Cairo? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Alarm. Way. What's a dropper, chat? Scam. Poem. Sleep. Argue. What? Oz. Okay. I'll take it. Sub 1 minute. Acceptable. Oz. True. I didn't know Cairo was the largest capital city. It's the only African capital I know. So thank God. Huge. Okay. 41. Okay, not bad. Is that Madoka? Probably. Yeah. Of course. I don't know this. I can't show this. Mayo Chiki. Why are they so ugly? They look like twins. Maybe it's like twin something. Twins. I don't fucking know, man. Try what? I'm sorry, what? You're telling me this is Vash Stampede? Really? What the fuck? Flashback? Is the whole show a flashback? Why is this the only thing we see? I know what Vash looks like as an adult. Fuck. Whatever. Oh, that's my goat. That's like the blue exorcist guy, right? I don't know what his name is, though. And I'm not sure, but that kind of looks like the Bungo Stray Dog guy. But I don't know if it is actually him. Was it Dazai? Donzai? Dazai. Yeah. And that looks like a Danganronpa art style. Okay. 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 Pretty solid opening. Okay. We take those. I'm cooked. I don't know any of these. Oh my, I'm so cooked. I don't know any of these. Is that the Code Geass character? Like the one that like what was it? I forgot, man. I watched it so long ago. The one that kills everyone by mistake or some shit. It kind of looks like her, I think. But bro, it's so like far back in my memory. And I don't know, this looks it looks too like angular for Kuroko. But I feel like it's got to be a sport anime. I don't know the other ones. Oh, it's free. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it was her. Okay, bet. I'll take it, honestly. I'll take it, honestly. That's Bookworm. That's the merchant guy, but I don't remember his name. Isegai equal no. I don't know which character this is, but I know it's from Nagai. The fuck is that, bro? Is that... So, here's the thing, okay? That art style looks like it's Soul Eater. But why does he have a fucking third eye Sharingan? If it's from Soul Eater. But like, I'm gonna guess Soul Eater, but I'm not, I don't know, man. Okay. Benno, that's his name, right? I clocked him instantly, by the way. I'm proud of that, okay? Like I knew who he was. Okay. Old good. Not manga. Let's try ReZero, because I know it's older than Baki. Light novel, worse than ReZero, older than ReZero, none of the same genres and themes. Chat, any guesses? Try number 6. Fine. It wasn't number 6. It's not even light novel. Idiot. Action mystery, though. Interesting. Light novel, action mystery. Not that good. Promise Neverland, older than 2011? (2010). Light novel, mystery, action, supernatural. Conan, 2010. Durarara. Bet. Good guess. Good guess. Bro, that's Universal Studios. I don't know what the fuck this is, man. What the fuck is this? Is that Dragon Ball? Is it Dragon Ball Z or is it another one? It's Dragon Ball Z, okay. I've never heard this opening. No clue. Is that Gintama? No, right? No, it's not. No, it's not. Because Gintama openings are all over the place, man. But so and I saw white hair and I was like, is that him? I don't know what the fuck this is though, bro. Talentless Nana. Okay. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know what this is. All right, well, that was pretty pathetic. 22,000 today. It is what it is. It's fine. I have a video to post though, chat. Banner review as usual. If you can find it through YouTube, it helps more with the algorithm. If you're too lazy, I understand. I'll put the link in chat. I'm not doing the OST duel. I'm tired. I'm going back to bed. See you guys tomorrow. Also, chat, I started, I finally decided, you know what? Fine, I'll fucking pick SSS class Suicide Hunter back up. And it was a good idea. I've read like 20 chapters, like 10 chapters into the martial arts arc, and it's actually really good. You guys were right. I definitely, it was definitely a good decision to pick it back up. I'll keep reading it today. Anyway.